Let's get cracking!
Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the D2CL. I am Toby1, your English caster for tonight, and we are doing game number 2 of Alliance going up against VirtusPro. Game number 1, well, I was actually liking the draft coming out from VP, but there one thing, which was the Earthshaker and just how effective he would be, which turned out really not at all. And what happened to the offlane? Centaur getting shut down, no farm. Skywrath Mage, this zoner out of heroes, which Alliance seemed to be playing just over the last couple of days. It's been working wonders for him, and well, we'll see if it's going to work for them again here in game number 2. They're not picking it up here in the first set, and they will also be denied up another hero, which is going to be their Invoker. So there is no Invoker coming the way of Alliance, also because they banned it themselves, and VP banned the Batrider. So it seems they're banning out the key heroes from either side. So yeah, there we go, being shut down on those two. So yeah, so that's going to be Ember Spirit, first pick for VirtusPro. Darkseer as well as Nyx Assassin will be the 2 heroes selected here from Alliance. So a lot better heroes for offlane. Darkseer again, Admiral Bulldog. He played a great Darkseer in the last game, but then again, all he had to do was be passive and not die, which is exactly what happened. While VP, they could try and run this Ember Spirit. It's going to be a solo mid for God. But at the same time, you're picking him up very early on when Alliance, normally they are searching for heroes which will just be able to silence up the Ember Spirit. Storm Spirit's still available right now if S4 wants to go down those lines. Puck hasn't been banned out either for him. And then if you don't get either of those 2 heroes, you've still got a lot of different like Orchid-style heroes, or maybe they could still just run that Arcade support. That could be happening. By the way, I was also asking Alliance like what they were doing in the last couple, because I want to know how these teams are feeling about their patch. I know this is like now the second, third time I might possibly be talking about this, but as far as their last drafts going, like they played their matchup against MYM yesterday, which is when they were trying to play around with some new stuff. So they gave the Lich a whirl over on Arcade, over on Arcade, and they also tried 2 different things with like load up. They did both Slark as well as having this combination of I want to say Skeleton King every single time, but it's not Skeleton King anymore. The Wraith King, as well as Admiral Bulldog, who was playing around with a Huskar, and they had Mag on top of that. So they had 3 melee cores and then being babysat by the EGM Abaddon. So it was an interesting kind of combination coming out from both those teams last night. It was actually a really entertaining game. We should actually see more of it for the D2CL. But for now, we look at VS now coming up for VP. So we add in a lot more extra damage, possible negative armor coming out from VirtusPro, and more control abilities coming out. But it's also very dangerous for them. Like, yeah, okay, EGM, who surprisingly is the man. Like, why is EGM doing the picking? I don't know if he was doing this in game number 1. I kind of want to know why. But EGM appears to want to be doing the draft from this. So he picks up the Luna. But I like his 2 bans. Takes out the Wraith King and takes out, again, the Centaur. Now, with a Wraith King on an aggressive tri-lane with the Vengeful Spirit, you got a lot of power to nuke down that Luna that looks like they were just trying to pick up. So they remove that possibility. And now we get Chen, Nyx Assassin, Luna. Safe is what this feels like. It's very safe in the pushing. You could try and run the Nyx Assassin in the middle lane too, so it doesn't give us every single answer for the Alliance draft. For VP, it's rather obvious for them. Ember Spirit will either be top or mid, and then SK and Vengeful Spirit. These guys could try the aggro tri-lane, but at the same time, they could just be roaming support. There's so many different things that VP could be doing with their lineup, with the SK and the VS, as far as like just lane combinations and where exactly they'll end up. That one more hero, one more core will start to give us a little bit more of an inkling into how it's going to happen. Yeah. All right, so VP, they're eating in a lot of their extra time. Are they worried about the pushing power here? Because if that's the case, we should be looking at counter pushing. But if they're trying to counter push, VS and SK aren't really that. And Tidehunter. Okay. Now this man got some really good reworks. The way his Anchor Smash now works, So much damage removal coming out from him. I'm almost a bigger fan of Tidehunter now. And I wasn't a fan of him to start with. Cap was trying to sell him to me. Cap was seriously trying to sell him to me. And every single time I was sitting there going, Cap, yo, you've been smoking something which really shouldn't be smoked. But now we'll see. We'll just wait and see. I'm holding out my judgment. But with the new Tidehunter, it's a lot better. Like, it's so much better, this new Tidehunter. So much more effective in lane, so much more to bring to the team fight. And he already brought his Ravage, even though that kind of got nuked out a little bit by the fact, like, the way it hits. It's not instant AoE stun up. It actually comes out like a ripple effect. But up against a Chen, a Luna, he might remove some armor, but there's a lot of DPS that can come out from Alliance. EGM, in fact, bans out the Templar Assassin, so he's assuming that, okay. Mirana comes up. So what do they want to give to S4 here? They could give the Mirana to S4, but run him on the safe lane, because it should be a low to Luna. In fact, nothing should really stop it being a low to Luna. But they got a lot of range stun, a lot of initiation. They got invis damage as well to come out from the Darkseer. Something to interrupt the Sand King. The Ravage is still going to be the primary problem here of Alliance. Like, hands down, it's going to be a primary problem.
5 seconds remaining.
So Jodam now, Morphling is their final selection. They go for security, and this will be a Tidehunter core. Now, this I'm down for. Smile doesn't need a Blink Dagger. He needs a couple of levels. If he can get to level 6, great. In the early stages, of course. But this is a Tidehunter, which isn't like a Brewmaster, that isn't like a Centaur. Finally, I can enjoy Smile playing again, just based on hero selections. And Illidan takes one of his fun core heroes, so the Morphling will now arrive. So, Morphling, Sand King, Vengeful Spirit, but then we have the Ember Spirit. So, Ember could be moved towards the middle lane. Morphling could also be doing the same kind of thing, because it's Morphling versus what? A Mirana in middle? Both have some pretty shabby base damage at the very, very start. So early Wraith bans might be fixing that. That's the way Morphling always used to be played. And Mirana could have that kind of assistance too. Then again, they could always move Luna towards the mid as well. So, yeah, there's many different options coming out from these guys. The one, it's going to be God playing as the Ember Spirit. So he will be going towards that mid, and Illidan should be heading north. Which means NS and Jodam, they protect Illidan, and if they can, they get a kill on this offlaner. Now, you got VS stun to follow up with SK stun. If Darkseer's out far enough, yeah, you get killed. But then again, would they? The nuke damage coming out from Waveform, VS stun, and the SK stun is decent, but I don't think it's actually enough to bring down Admiral Bulldog. This guy starts at 587, and now also with Observer Ward down, he knows when to back up. And with a dual lane, if they can't do a dual lane for this, it looks like a roaming Sand King with the boots as well as an Observer Ward first. Like, boots are just mainly used so you can get in range for your level 1 strike, but it could also be used to try and combo with Smile. Or the middle lane for God. So they got these kind of options on the field for VirtusPro. I kind of want to. I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge early on. I want to see how they deal, and then we can start talking about it more. To run through the remainder of the players, so we'll have Ake. He'll be taking up the role as the Chen. Middle lane will be S4 Nyx Assassin, which means we get Loader as the Luna, and we actually have a support Mirana. Now, I was waiting off talking about this one just because I kind of find it so damn interesting. So, you've got support Mirana. Now, this kind of stuff would be done with Naga Siren or things like that. It's normally not just played alone without some kind of setup. So, what they're basically relying on here is EGM, able to find, like, Tidehunter, who is rather slow and sluggish. Like, then again, he's got 310 movement speed, so he's not really that slow. He's a little bit faster than Mirana. But it's a pretty nice target for EGM to try and grab. But if he gets a long stun duration out, then Loader can just go to town on him. And the base damage here from EGM, like, he's already got plus 14 when he's walking around that Luna. So it's good times for him. There's no real problems to come in for the Mirana. The only problems I'm going to feel is levels, but in the early stages, all you are is an arrow and a moonlight shadow. In the later stages, then you can have your high levels up in your Starfall. And you find your nukage you're searching for. He's being a nuisance to Smile. So Anchor Smash to start with, an EGM negative 28. He does a grand total of 20 damage when that level 1 Anchor Smash is used. If only Tidehunter was going up against a melee hero, things might have been easier. And maybe they were considering that as a possibility, but not with a Chen. I think Chen would ever want to be in that kind of position. EGM's going to look for this arrow, but Smile's already backing up. The Observer Ward here is able to spot every time Mirana's coming over. It's a very, very early warning system. But Smile, okay, he's going to try and man-fight this. Like, Anchor Smash cost him nothing to do. And now, well, maybe it will cost him his life. He really, EGM, he knew he didn't have a lot of damage, but he knew he was also a very, very delectable target for Smile to look at. And with the Troll Trap creep coming out from RK, you basically get what you're searching for with that Naga combo, which I was talking about before with the Naga and Mirana. So now he's also got Leap on EGM, Troll Traps off cooldown. They can get this one quite easily on Smile. All he's got to do is trap it. The call is coming. I think the call was Semele there. They're worried about the creep wave on the way. But they summon the Undead Army. Troll's moving forward. Lucent Beam just trying to get in range for the Troll Trap. Then the arrow comes up. Leaping closer, so everybody gets the extra effect. Actually, it wasn't loaded. It was just RK. But they get the second kill now on Smile. What did I think I just heard Smile by saying now I can finally enjoy one of his games. The one is Tide's supposed to do. Back off the bottom lane. He can't do that. He can't really go. He can't go jungle. Not at this stage. Which means now Alliance will be able to finish up the bottom lane. S4 still playing up against the Ember Spirit. As long as he mana burns him down, Ember Spirit can't do as much. Like, yes, it's still burned through the bottle charges, obviously, and both heroes can be doing that, but they basically nerf each other by doing it. Because Ember Spirit then can't fist chain. In fact, he didn't even get a single point up in that. He went the Immolation instead. So going up with that Flame Guard of his. But S4 also doesn't really care about that because he knows he's got Spy Carapace and stuns to protect him. So he can battle directly up against God, and he's 12 for 2. Well, yeah, sorry, he's 14 for 6 up against the now 13 for 2 Ember Spirit. So we're staying nice and close, and now he's actually used, what, Spy Carapace, Centaur, Hoofstomp, coming in from Arcade. That was actually a little bit too short then. Oh, actually, no, it wasn't. S4 was in the right position. What am I talking about? God's on the way out of here. Courier's also coming in with a Chen Nuke, Burrow Strike out. We've already lost the Ember Spirit, and they may, in fact, lose Jottam if the Creep Wave wasn't attacking on Arcade. Now, the Centaur's still in the neighborhood with the stun available. And it's coming back down for Arcade. He's considering if Jottam sticks around any longer. He doesn't have mana for his secondary nuke, though, which is why I don't think it's going to work. But NS able to steal the Invis rune. So a quick magic missile will kill off Arcane. They've got to back up. Yeah, they feel something is wrong. The blind stun's coming out from S4 just in case NS was reaching him. And everyone just backs up. Well, Admiral Bulldog top lane. 14 for 1 on this Darkseer. Sitting at 4 3/4 of the level up against a 3 1/3 Smile who's died twice. And EGM kind of knows he went in here somewhere. He's checking the crevices. And now he sees him. I'm surprised Smile didn't just turn to Anchor Smash straight away. But then again, with what's been happening on that bottom lane, I'm not surprised he backs up. And it's just because Chen was in mid and at low life. You kind of knew he had to go back to base. So there wasn't that impending doom coming his way. Thought Illidan was in trouble for the moment, but he was just Agi morphing up so he could heal. As they give over the salve. Lotus Hand and Midas will now arrive. So, Luna's going to get fatter and fatter. Looks like Illidan's still trying to go... Actually, Illidan is trying to go for the same thing. He could switch it up. I have been seeing a couple of morphlings going phase boots recently. But in this game, I got a feeling he's going to try and keep up with Loda. Nope, he's not. Gets the Ring of Health. Heard a surge away by Admiral Bulldog. Jottam missing the Burrow Strike. So foul gank attempt there by the VS as well as the SK. Normally this is the reason why. But that's going to time out in 16 seconds, so we won't have that protection anymore, Darkseer. At the same time, I don't think Admiral Bulldog needs it. You see what he's doing right now. He comes in close. He throws a second Iron Shell out. He's trying to make the most out of it to bait NS over, to pull him away. While Jotum just says, screw this. He goes farming up in the jungle. He's got the 1-point Burrow Strike, 2-point Sandstorm. So he needs to use that Sandstorm to basically get his farm back up again. Get the 3rd point up in the Burrow Strike then, just from the Sandstorm. And if he can, Blink Dagger. Because then they can initiate in nicely. Now EGM, he's now moved towards the middle lane. Going to be soaking up some experience, which means we've already got movement coming out from S4. He's got Vendetta available, level 7, so 4 points up in the stun. Observer Ward has gone down here for VP. But with Iron Shell now being cast, I don't think we would have seen that to realize that. But now, NS, he's dead. Vendetta, look, he's burning from something invisible, which instantly means you've got an Iron Shell Nyx Assassin right behind you. And Illidan with only 550 life points, he's a very simple target. And Arcade's recruited some new friends, a Hellbearer as well as a Centaur. With this, they can just dive or zone out Illidan. And that's the reason why you're seeing now both Smile as well as God move top lane. Now, Observer Wards are down, trying to look up higher, but that's basically it. Jotum is not ready to fight. He's just trying to get his Arcane boots, but now Admiral Bulldog, he'll find God, and the army of Chen still here. Now, Searing Chain's got him in the middle of his surge, which means Darkseer drops very quickly with a double damage triggering off for Ember Spirit. You know the reason why RK as well as S4 made this decision. Now, Ember Spirit just managed to go straight over the top of the Nyx Assassin.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
At the same time, RK has now managed to find Jotum. Chen Nuke will be all he needs. He needs the range for it. And it was just out. Good Burrow Strike by Jotum to get himself out to freedom. Now, the stun attempted by S4. But it just baits out another Remnant. And baits out the final bottle charge here of God. And he knows he's being watched by RK. In fact, they all know now. Deep Observer Wards being planted up. While EGM, okay, that's not what you want to be doing. Giving a free kill over the way of God. He's now 2 for 1 on this Ember Spirit. Now, Loda's also going to try and come in. Now, just pops off the Eclipse. He needs a Centaur Hoof Stomp. Whoa, 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 whoa. Counting their chickens before they hatch right there. Leaving him half dead. And EGM comes top. The D ward was there. Actually, the Observer ward, sorry, is there. It's a little bit further up. So we saw NS on the way, but NS also would have seen that arrow. And realized there was some level of support, but it's not going to stop him. They want to come in. The waveform is there, but if he goes in just then, he'll be in a lot of trouble. And that's why EGM, he can't throw the arrow out. There was a range creep that was watching him. So they would see the angle if he did try and do it. In the meantime, Loda continues to farm on the bottom lane. The rest of his team gets to have the fun, it seems. Loda in the last game at least had himself a haunt, so he could come in and get himself a kill. In this game, he still managed to find 2 of them. But he's really been just renegated to farming. Or can he get... No. Loda doesn't have enough DPS. If he had... Wait, actually, yes, he does. With the tier 1 tower down, he can keep diving. Elusive Beam into 2 more basic attacks, and he'll have to kill, but he was diving in very deep for this.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
RK. Also coming up to try and support Loda here on the bottom lane. While EGM is farming up the dire side jungle. It's just not SK's day at all. Jotum. What's his net worth sitting at? 1,500. That poor VS, though. 480. She doesn't have a single item on her. Or that net worth is just a gold again. Now, Loda is pushing bottom lane with Arcade. The support coming up from the SK. And without the Eclipse available, this is actually... It has potential. With the Ember Spirit, has a lot of potential. In fact, Moonlight Shadow, trying to protect him. He's in range of the tower now, which is why Sentry Ward comes down. Hoof Stomp, it's a quick Ember. Searing Chains. And now he just gets sent back. One more Lucid Beam or something. He's just trying to dive in deeper for Smile. He still does a crap ton of damage. And RK sent him back and saved Loda's life. He was really pushing the envelope a little bit too far. But the tier 1 tower in the middle lane is being attacked by catapults. S4 and EGM. EGM, who is really just this greedy kind of support hero now. He's walking around with 2.2k net worth. He's got more net worth than this Tidehunter, which is obviously no surprise considering the game that Tidehunter has been having. But there's just no other... Wait, is Jodam also rushing? It looks like he's rushing Blink Dagger, which means he can't spam anything out the lanes. And it's also can't reach Admiral Bulldog as he surges away. And God is spending most of his time rotating around hunting. We're not seeing... Like, it's 2 for 2 with 48 for 4 CS on the Ember Spirit. He's not running ahead of Midas, which means he'll never be able to keep up with the Luna. And having Illidan hold the fort from then, he also needs time. In fact, he needs about 22, 23 minutes. Now Ravage in middle lane. Hassart will stun himself with that. It's a 3-man Burrow Strike and S4. He goes invis right now, and they don't see him. Vendetta will protect him. They committed 4 heroes. A Ravage. The arrows flying up. NS is lucky he's not walking just a little bit further to the right. And committed so much mana from the Ember Spirit, not to mention time, and now they'll lose their tier 2 tower in the bottom lane for a no-kill. They got a defensive Vendetta, is all they got out of Alliance right there. There's real trouble coming the way of VP. They're losing out on money, they're losing out on experience, and Alliance is looking in top form. And it looks like they're gonna force the matter. On bottom lane, Smile. He can't defend this. Ravage is down, so they know they can go high ground. Nets, Nyx Assassin stuns, Hoof stomps, and then just one last attack. In fact, it's going to come from the Chen Creep, not even Chen himself. And they're going to force up high ground. VS is on the front lines, but there's no swap here for NS. He's got a 3-point magic missile and then a 1-1. That's not enough to fight this, and Jodam, not enough mana for an epicenter. This is the other problem about not going Arcane Boots early on. Now, you're able to get yourself a Burrow Strike. It does go through Arcane, and Loda just turns on the Eclipse. He knew without the creep wave there, it'll hit 100% on the heroes. And he had Arcane supporting him. Arrow comes in, and the very smart time, the TP gets cancelled. But the tower is gone, and in 13 minutes and 14 seconds, the GG is announced. One last little bit of fun for the Ember Spirit. But then again, no, he will survive. Saved by the bell. 9-2 is all this one took. 13-22 in, and the lineup had just too much power. Again, the offlane really seems to be a massive problem here for VirtusPro. They just can't get farm on it. They can't get any kind of like useful utility out. The first time they used that utility, it was the no death on Nyx Assassin in the middle lane. And then they picked 2 heroes that time really late. The Ember Spirit as well as the Morphling. Now, Amber also got nerfed down, so his damage is a considerably amount lower for his Sleight of Fist. So even his range harassment is very low. So you take that into account, and you take into account the fact he had no real mana to play around with. VS and Nyx and SK, they were done by 1 Observer Ward, which was never dewarded. So because of this, you never lost Admiral Bulldog on the offlane. Actually, I say that. He actually died once. But that's it. For a Darkseer offlane, comparison to the 0-3 Tidehunter, it's worth it. And he was one of only 2 deaths that happened. The other one was the Mirana. So you take an offlaner and take a support hero, and that's basically it. It was just a good game, good draft from Alliance and VP. It looks like they still have some work to do with their lineup. And I look forward to hopefully them getting back on their feet. But for now, the D2CL, they will find themselves with a loss, and Alliance will find themselves with a 2-0 victory, which is definitely going to propel them up higher. They'll go 2-0 now as far as the results in the group. And while VP, that is their second match they played, they are 0-2 and in a position where they will probably be eliminated. 2 losses kind of like throws you into a really bad position for the qualifier. I mean, for the playoffs area. And in a game, in a group when you're there with Alliance and Roxkiss, you already have now, well, 2 wins for Alliance, 1 win for Roxkiss, and then you got Relax in there too. And Relax shouldn't be underestimated, and not to mention the other team. Initially Cloud9, but Cloud9 wants some more time to practice. So EG will come into this group, and they've already got 1 win under their belt. They got their win over Relax. They went 2-0 in that matchup, and now we'll see how they go up against Alliance. It will be the battle for the clear 2 favorites for Group 2. Stay tuned. We're about 45 minutes away from the starting time, so we'll have ourselves a short break, but we will be back for the big match of the night, Alliance going up against Evil Geniuses.